Hey y'all, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And in today's video, we are going to be diving into a new release from p.louise Cosmetics. This is their Unlock Your Creativity palette. Yes, it's a large palette, but it's p.louise, so it's fairly small for them, I feel like. Typically, if you're new around here, or if you're new to p.louise, typically p.louise does some pretty large and elaborate type of packaging when it comes to their palettes and their designs. My favorite and first time trying them was the Worldy palette, and it was probably twice the size of this, like this much bigger, probably about this thick, and it had like beads in it, and you could like move it around. It's very beautiful. I have it packed away over there so I can't show you. It's very beautiful, but it's very large and clunky to store. So while this is still large, like it's still pretty darn large, it at least is like a book display, so I plan to just slide it in with my other palettes like a book. I think it's very pretty. I thought about trying to fit it back here, but I don't know if I'll manage that. Anyway, it's a little bit large, but not that large for p.louise, and if you haven't seen the inside, this is the reason I picked it up, because here's one side, which if you're new around here, I'm not super big into pinks and purples, so I looked at this and I was like, okay, that's nice, but then they open the other side. Do we see this? You guys know I love, or if you're new around here, I love greens and blues and yellows, so this side paired with this side, especially the yellows, I love a good sunset look. I was kind of sold, and it's an all matte palette. Sold. So I picked it up to try it. I have 3 looks to share with you guys today. I'm going to do 2 of them, just a music overlay. You guys can watch me do it. And then the third one, which is this look, we'll do together, and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on this palette. It is going to be a first impression, so we'll get into it in a minute as to why I need more time with this palette, but it is a large palette. I'm going to need more than 3 looks before I give you guys a review, but we'll meet back here at the end and I'll give you guys as much of a first impressions review as I can. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and just dive right into look number 1. Alright, so you guys are ready to dive into the last look. This video is going to be all over the place because the other two looks that you guys just watched have nothing in my background, and now I have something in my background. Work in progress, but let's go ahead and just start the process off. I'm pretty sure I already used the p.louise one in a previous tutorial. I can't remember which look it was, but I'm pretty sure I used it, and I think I also used the Glamlight one, so I'm going to use the ABH one just to use something different. And for this look, I want to do something different. The other two looks, as you guys saw, oh gosh, I need to blend this out. My head is all over the place if you can't tell. The other two looks I did cut creases, which I really do enjoy, an all matte cut crease, half cut crease, whatever you want to call it. But this time for this look, I want to do something a little bit different, just to try a different type of technique and give you a little bit something different instead of 3 different types of cut creases using, you know, the colors in various ways. So I am inspired by this Instagrammer with this makeup. It's so pretty. I won't be doing the stars, but I want to do the rest of the look with from the purple to blue. I think it's really pretty, and I have so many colors in here. I should be able to do this pretty well, complete this pretty well. So that is my plan, and we can see how these eyeshadows look, kind of more packing and blending in sections as opposed to just how I've been using it in the other two looks. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're first going to dive into, let's go ahead and start from the inside going outside. I feel like I always start from the other way, and then I feel like I run out of room in a sense. So we're gonna start from the blue. So let me open the blue side, and we got lots of options. We could go really dark here. I could even do like a smoky rainbow eye, but I feel like it might get a little too dark on the lid, so I kind of want to keep it bright. But you guys know me, I do like my dark depths. We're gonna do it because that'll be using more colors as well. So I'm gonna pick basically 2 of each colors, and I'll do the lighter one kind of blending out into my crease, and then the darker one on the lid. So for blue, I think we can use these 2. Can I be in frame? These 2. This shade and then this shade. Hopefully that shade, what is it, Selfie, isn't too dark. I don't think it'll be, and everything else leans a little bit too green. The lighter shades lean a little too green, so we're gonna do Selfie. Let me grab a brush. I'm gonna use this little guy from Real Techniques. I don't think it has a name. Oh yeah, shading brush. And let's just pop it on. You'll have to tell me what you think of the lighting for this tutorial specifically, not the other two. They might be a little bit rough, but for this look, I actually changed it up a little bit, and I added a light underneath my camera, because before that, for the other tutorials, I just had 2 above me, and I felt like there was a lot of shadow below me. I also need to get out my reflector on here, put it down on my makeup table, because that also helps reflect light upward. Then I'm going to take, no, I want it bigger. Let's do this one, this little 14 from Refer. We're going to take that lightest blue shade, and it's called Release, and I'm going to put it right on top of here. This is a very light pastel shade. I don't know if it'll show up very much on camera because it is so light, but I can see it in person. It's just a very, could be like a very see-through type of white, but it's got a hint of blue to it, so I can't knock it too much. I'm just gonna take that brush that I put that first shade on, and we're gonna mesh and blend the 2 together now, adding a touch more. I'm trying not to add too much because I don't want to get too dark, but I'm just gonna go here and go back and forth to kind of mesh the 2 together. Alright, then we're going to go into just a touch of green going over to yellow, and yellow is kind of dead center, so let's go ahead for the green. I'm going to use this brighter green here, and then probably I'll use this lightest one up here, maybe a touch of this shade, I think, but I don't want it to get too grungy. I definitely want to keep it looking as green, bright green as I can, and it really isn't much, so I'm going to overlap this with the blue a good amount just to kind of help blend it in, and this shade of green might be a touch lighter than the blue, but I think it'll blend. If not, I can grab a touch of the darker green if I need to. Just gonna bring that up. Yeah, honestly, I can bring this all the way up because it's such a light green. So let me go ahead and do that. I didn't even tell you, but this shade I'm using is Discover, and I'm gonna bring it all the way up like so and bring it down into this blue a bit. Playing around with this palette again, I do enjoy the formula of p.louise. I can't say, I don't think I love it. I definitely, with this palette specifically, I need to use it at least like bare minimum 6 times. I'm gonna go into No Doubt, which is just a touch darker with the green, but still kind of a bright green. But I need to use it a lot more because it's such a large palette, and I really want to kind of play around with the mattes some more to kind of get and figure out what I feel for this palette. So I think I've already mentioned in the beginning, and if I haven't, I'm not going to have a review for this palette up in 2022, like my official review, and it's not going to be part of my 2022 countdown when it comes to my favorite palettes from the year. I'm not going to include it. This palette is going to go into the 2023 at the end of next year when I do that, just because I need more time with it. I really can't rank it, but at the same time I don't have time to play with it too much more because I need to finish up the other palettes that I kind of do have my thoughts on, and I want to get a review out so I can include it in the end of the year. So yeah, I really kind of wanted to cram this in here so I could rank it at the end of the year and let you guys know where I kind of see where this palette falls for me. But I'm going to go into that lightest green that I had showed you guys before. It's almost like a yellow, honestly, but I'm just going to take a touch of it and put it right in, up here. But I feel like if I do that, I really will be rushing and I won't get a good feel for it. So I'm just going to hold off and play with this. Like I said, bare minimum 6 times, if not more. I need to really play around with it because the mattes are very nice, very pretty, but they're also interesting. All right, from there, I'm gonna go into the yellows, and for that, I'm gonna go over on this side and do this bright yellow on my lid, and then for the crease, I'll probably just use that yellow right there. I could also use either one on either side. This Create, which is like the lightest green, and then that lightest yellow, are honestly, you know, I could see this one having a touch more green, this one a touch more yellow, but they're really, really close. But anyway, I'm gonna do those two while I kind of talk about why I call the formula interesting. And I think the biggest reason for me calling it interesting is because I feel like it performs best when you pack it on, tap it on, and then the shade you put down first always looks the best. I feel like it's a little bit finicky in that aspect of like the more I play with it, the more I add colors. Like now I'm trying to add the yellow on top of the green a little bit. Like I think it's blending just fine, especially on camera. I don't think you'll be able to like nitpick. I'm also way off. I said I need to do yellow directly in the middle, and I'm almost like done with, I'm almost off my eyelid. So I need to bring this over a little bit. Let me do more packing motions. But anyway, I feel like in person is where I can really see that. I think it's that these shadows have nice pigment to them, but they're very thin. But they're very soft and like pigmented when you swatch them. But when I actually use them, I feel like the word that always comes to mind when I'm using it is that they're very thin. Like I feel like you can see through the pigment of the shadow to my lid underneath, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess any eyeshadow you do, you can always see your lid, you know, underneath it, and that, like, you know, it's your skin underneath it. But I just feel like it feels and looks a bit more see-through than I think some of my favorite formulas when it comes to matte eyeshadow. And that was something I kind of ran into with the p.louise Worldly palette, but it didn't stand out as much because it didn't have as many pastel shadows. Like these pastels in here, you know, this is the pastel yellow. It's so light. It's like, yeah, it gives a little hint of yellow to it, but it's just very, very light. A little too light and see-through-ish. I wish it just packed more of a punch, especially after trying the Genuine Gems, not the Genuine Gems, the Fairy Tale Fairies palette, and those matte pastels were just so amazing and so beautiful. Yeah, there's just something beautiful about those mattes that these, I like them, and I don't mean to dog on the brand and you guys hear my review and say like, oh, okay, Katie doesn't like this palette. So far I'm enjoying it. But when it comes to formulas, think about my favorite formulas, easiest formulas to work with, that's where it's like, I love these palettes for the creativity I can have and the beautiful eye looks you can get, but I feel like I have to work a little harder to get them, or just I have to step a little bit more carefully than some of my other eyeshadows that I feel like I don't have to do that to, if that makes sense. Okay, after that I'm supposed to fit peach to pink to purple. I might just skip the peach and go right to pink and purple and hope it all blends in because I'm running out of room. Per usual, maybe I'll just knock off the purple altogether and just kind of have the purple on the very outer, we'll try to fit it in. Come on, I was trying to fit it in. I'm really bad at this type of thing of like, you know, pacing myself when it comes to eye looks, I guess you could say. No, that's a flat brush. I need to wash my brushes because this is definitely a look that you need to have all of your brushes available because you go through them so much doing the different colors. Let's try this brush. This is the 207. And for pinks, let's do this pink, and if that's not bright enough, I'll go down and do this pink. And then for lightest one, honestly, it's so washed out, I'm so sorry. These two pinks literally look the same. Like, oh, that one I didn't get very much, it's indented. I guess this one's a little bit brighter, so I'll probably go with the brighter pink, which was the top one. unlocked there. So many shades. I mean, and for it having so many shades that I kind of feel like it's a little bit repetitive, I'm going into commit. I do like that I don't feel like I'm wanting for any shades. Like, it's such a large palette, there are 2 sides to the palette, it's a book palette, you know, that it was able to still give you all the color options, even though it's a bit repetitive. So I appreciate that about it. And if you don't mind bulky palettes and having repetitiveness, like I don't find the repetitiveness of some of the shades to be annoying, because I don't feel like they put them there at the expense of adding something else, because there's all the options here. I feel like there's so many colors here, and they're all matched, they're all beautiful, and you just have the hue from pretty darn deep to really light and pastel, and you guys know I love that in a look. So I do appreciate that. So if you don't mind having excessively bulky palettes, then this would be a great option to go for, because it gives you so many color options, but not at the expense of leaving a shade that you might really like out. I'm gonna go back into that yellow, which is opportunities. I think we might just manage to fit them all on here. I always like to try these, especially with a good rainbow palette like this. Try these type of looks where you just put them all on and have an effortless blend. I feel like I'm not very good at that, so here is me practicing it, because I feel like you can definitely still see the lines. I don't know. And then as I go out, I feel like this looks a little bit too like severe. I don't know. That's why I want to practice this, because I feel like when I do it, I don't exactly love it, but I want to learn to do these type of eye looks. So hence why I'm doing it. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more on the lid area. I need a darker color, especially to go over the yellow. So I'm going to go down to Breakthrough, which is that one darker pink right below it. I'll be curious how well the purple sticks, because like I said, with this formula, I feel like the one that's put down first shows up best. So I guess maybe that wasn't the best idea for me to work inner to outer corner, but oops, here we are. So I'll be curious to see how that purple sticks. But let me just go back over with some of that yellow, blend it up. And then I feel like the green to blue, I don't love this transition right there. I keep forgetting to look at both eyes. I get so fixated on one eye, and then I finally get it how I'm like it, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta catch the other eye up. But you'll have to tell me if you've tried p.louise, what you think of it. Like, I like it. It's a really nice formula, but I feel like it's just a touch more finicky, or like I have to be a little bit more careful than I prefer. But maybe it's just me though. I feel like a lot of people, especially those who've tried a lot of p.louise, really love p.louise. And some of the people who really love it also, I've noticed they do more like not so much the blending, maybe like I'm doing, but a lot of them more just packing and not get like working for that effortless blend. So maybe that's where this palette shines, and when you want to just place colors down for more of like graphic looks. But at the same time, like anytime I see p.louise, like they have some gorgeous blends. So I don't think that's, you know, I think it should work for more blended eyeshadows like the ones I go for. I'm just talking at this point. I really, had thought about doing a kind of life update. Okay, purples. I'm gonna go with Motivation, this dark purple, and then I'll probably use this shade here to blend it out, which is called Secure. The little impressions, like the things they have pressed into the shadow, are super cute. I really like them. They're super cute. And I like that they stay, you know, a decently long amount of time. This is my third look with it, I suppose, only 3 looks, but I've dipped into a couple of them more than once. Why is my mirror keep turning off? And they're still there for those ones I've dipped into multiple times, so I always like that. Especially when it's like so pretty. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to use it because then it'll disappear, so I appreciate it when the impression is so deep that it'll hang around for a little bit. Or it's a type of impression like this one. It has like an arrow going up with the word success on the side, so I can just go beside the impression and dip into it so I don't ruin it yet. I like that too. Okay, so the purple's going on very nicely. And so that's the thing also with p.louise, this palette specifically, having so many different colors. I feel like the dark ones are so good that like if the mid-tone or light ones aren't doing what I want, I can just go a step down to get the dark ones, and it's just, they're very impressive. Like this is taking no work to build up, it's taking no work to stick down. Super nice. I guess I'm going for a more winged out look, and I think I'm going to top it with the pink. I don't think I'll even use that lighter purple I was talking about. But anyway, I'm going back to that pink, and I think Commit is what I was in. But they're just, the dark ones are so nice that I kind of mixed up for the lighter ones maybe not being as nice. as I would like or envision them to. Does that make sense? I don't know, I'm very torn on this, and especially, you know, back when I tried the Worldy palette, I definitely hadn't tried as many brands, and like a lot of the newer indie brands that I really love, I hadn't tried much of them, if any. Like Odin's Eye is definitely one I don't think I tried back when, I think I had just tried one palette maybe when I tried the Worldy palette. So the Worldy palette was just so good. I loved it so much, but I think it might be because I just hadn't tried the type of formulas that I really like, and that I just find a lot easier to get the looks that I'm going for. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. All of that to tell you why I feel like I am not gonna have enough time to give you guys a full in-depth review with just 3 looks. So this is definitely gonna be a first impressions. I got some fallout there. Let's see how it dusts away. But I feel like I'm definitely gonna need many different looks of playing around with this and whatnot. Wear time is always really nice though. I could definitely say that. Like wear time for these mattes are very nice. The shades that, like, however it looks at, when you leave your makeup table is how it ends up looking at the end of the day. So it's like, that's like all you can really hope for. So there's some shades, like the lighter ones, like I was saying, they kind of feel a little see-through-ish. And they look a little see-through-ish by the end of the day, but they haven't changed any, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go into Breakthrough, which is the brightest of the pink, not the darkest of the pinks, but the brightest shade. I'm gonna go on with that brush that I used the purple on, which is the 28 from Rephr. I really like Rephr brushes. They're a wee bit pricey, so I never pick them up unless they're on sale. But when they're on sale and I like want enough to get free shipping, that made them worth it to me. So anyway, yeah, wear time I'm very happy with. Okay, so see, this is an example where I wasn't liking how that pink, the commit was looking. It just was looking a little lackluster. So then I go down to Breakthrough, the brighter, more intense pink, and it's like, yes, that's what I was wanting, so now I am happy. So that's what I'm talking about, where I feel like some shades are a little weak. But if you just, you know, go 1 or 2 down and get a different shade that's a little bit more impactful, it's like, okay, now I'm happy. That's what I was wanting. So I'm just gonna go back into the yellow. Lots of back and forth here. But that's where I feel like I'm a little torn when it comes to my thoughts on this palette, because I feel like there's aspects of it that I love. I love how colorful it is. Like, I like how many colors she puts in here. Yes, the packaging is bulky. Yes, there are some shades that are repetitive, but I just feel like when you open this, when it comes to a rainbow palette, it's like, you can do anything when you open this. There's just so many options. And I mean, I guess you could get that effect with a different palette that is smaller, but I don't know, there's something very I guess visually gratifying when you open it and there's just this gradient of all the colors that I just really like. I'm gonna go into Got the Key with this brush, which I haven't even said, but this brush I was just using as a clean brush to smooth out the edges because I don't like the lines that I'm seeing, but I'm just gonna go on top and kind of smooth out all of them, and I might go with the lightest pink outside next. So I'm just gonna keep this kind of in the middle. And then same brush, I'm gonna go into, let's go into Limitless, because I feel like that was a bit softer of the pinks. And then we're gonna pack that on the outer, blend that on the outer corner, just to get a little bit more softer. I think I'm liking it. I feel like it's still a little bit liney, but that could be me. Like I said, the reason I wanna do this is because this is definitely a technique, a type of look that I feel like I really struggle with. So I wanted to practice, but at least the other looks that I did, those are more of my typical ones, like the cut crease and whatnot, that I'm a little bit more comfortable with, so you can see the quality there. The struggle to get a nice seamless blend could just be my own limitations, as I just use the shade Limitless, my own limitations when it comes to using this palette. But yeah, this is pretty much what I'm going for on the lid. I'm just kind of messing with it because I don't like just random lines. I want it all to look very seamless, and I feel like I'm not quite getting that in some spots between some of the colors. But let me just spend a little more time. And what do I want for the lower lash line? I'm just going to take the purple, which is Motivation, that I did there, and I'm going to take it down. I'm going to add a touch of Access, which is the darkest shade on this side. It looks blue to me, but it's on the pink, yellow, pink, and purple side. So that's another thing. And then I'm going to go back to the bright purple. I love the colors in here. Like, you guys know I'm not a big pink and purple person, but I think that's why I love this palette so much, because it's not just like pink and purple. This pink and purple side also has yellow. And then on this side, it's like blue and green with yellow too, like a grungy yellow. So yeah, that's another reason I love this palette as well. I love that aspect of it, and I definitely want to do some grungy looks. Okay, and then for that innermost portion, I think I'm going to take a blue, kind of tie it all around. Should I just take that same blue I used on my inner corner? I don't want to. Let's try something different. This shade I feel like it's bordering on the purple side of it, so let's use that, Captivate. And I'm just going to put that right down here. Yeah, it's much deeper blue, and it definitely leans a little purplish, so I feel like that'll be a good complement to the lower lash line while still tying in that blue on the inner corner. So I had dusted away, and I still feel like there's pink left on the top of my cheekbones. Oh well. And then finally, let's go ahead and I'm probably gonna do this off screen, but I want to see if I can tight line just the top of it, of my look. And I'm gonna skip on I'll use this one from Moda. That seems nice. I'm gonna skip on the like black liquid liner, but I'm gonna just take that dark purple access and run it over. I'm very slow at doing liner. I'm not gonna do a wing, I just wanna line it. Okay, definitely made a mess down below. I'm gonna take that Motivation, that purple that I used in the outer corner, and kind of tap and blend the edges of this so it's not like a harsh stopping point. But I feel like I just blended away that purple. I don't know. I don't remember having such issues with the blending of away the shadows with the Worldy palette. I'm gonna go back into Access. I guess if I wanted to line it, I should have done this first so that it really stuck down before blending everything else on top. All right, I'm gonna finish with some, I can't think right now. Why can't I think? Some mascara. That's the word I'm looking for. Mascara, and I'm gonna do inner corner highlight, and then I'll get some close-ups, and I'm probably gonna play around with out here a little bit because I don't like where it just feels like when I open my eyes it just sticks out. I want it to blend up here a little bit more, so I might need to take the pink a little bit higher. I'll probably do that, and then after that we can close out this video and I'll give you guys my final first impression thoughts. Okay, so here we have with the finished look. I think overall it turned out nice enough. There's definitely a lot about this palette I feel like I could nitpick. Oh, I forgot to take off the little, let's see, the little clear protectant. I think it's a nice look. I definitely, the closer I get, the more I look at it, I feel like I can nitpick it, but I think it's definitely my own nitpicking that I'm doing, my own skills when it comes to this, and not so much the eyeshadow and the quality of the palettes. There are definitely those aspects when I was talking to you guys about how like sometimes I felt like it doesn't blend and build on top of each other that well, and I had to go to darker palettes. That's still there, but as far as like the blending skill, I think it's just me and having to get used to this type of look, because this definitely is a type of look that I don't tend to do. So I'm sorry I chose this type of look to do for this review, and I hope it doesn't take away from the review, but I like to try and practice looks that I'm not very good at sometimes so that I can get better at them. But anyway, just talking about the quality of the eyeshadows, I think they're nice enough. The most brightest shades, like the most brightest color for each one of these, like the purple, dark purples here, the pink here, the oranges that I tried before, this nice bright yellow, those impress me the most. But when it comes to the really lighter shades, I feel like they're so pastel and so transparent. They disappoint me a little bit, and then also with the mid-tone shades, I feel like they disappoint me a little bit, just because with how beautiful the really bright shades and then the really deep shades are, I kind of hope, or I kind of want more from the mid-tone shades, I guess is what I'm saying, and definitely with the very light pastel shades. But overall, you can definitely get some really pretty looks, and for this being such a large clunky palette, I surprisingly didn't mind kind of switching back and forth, because this is a two-sided palette, so there's no way you can just open it up and lay it on your table. You have to just like move from one side to the other. Is it annoying? If I thought about it long enough, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but honestly, I didn't really mind it that much when I was doing my makeup this morning, so it's not that bad. I mean, today is when I kind of had to play from both sides, but for the most part I was kind of just focusing on one side, and then maybe through the lid I'd switch over and do the other side. I don't know, I just didn't find it that annoying if I didn't think about it that long. But overall, my first impressions on this palette is I really did enjoy the looks that I've gotten. I enjoyed how much color is in here, and I enjoy the very bright and the very deep tones in here. But I gotta keep trying it to give a very thorough review, so definitely look for my PLouise whenever I do review this palette. It'll obviously be in sometime in the new year, hopefully probably in January. I'll try to get a review up because I just need more time with this just to see if it's just something with the quality of the eyeshadows that I'm not a big fan of, or maybe it's just me and my blending, or just see what I think about this palette before I tell tell you guys if I think it's a great palette or not and where it kind of lies in all the other palettes that I've tried. Because definitely, as I mentioned during the video, the Worldy palette I've tried 2-3 years ago at this point, and I've definitely been introduced to a lot more indie palettes or indie brands since then, so maybe I've just grown a little bit from this formula. But anyway, more testing is needed. I know that's not a super helpful type of review to give you guys in this video, but hopefully it'll help steer you in some kind of direction, either to wait a little bit longer, or if you like everything that I'm telling you about it, be like, hey, who cares if I like it? If you like it, that's great. I also didn't mention in the beginning, but I don't know, well, yeah, I think you can see. Yeah, it flashes. Like it's got LED lights or something, a strip in there that flashes different colors whenever you open the top cover. Absolutely extra. Totally didn't need that aspect of it, but since I have it, I might as well show you. Oh, and also this comes with a lock, so you slide it in here. It's an actual legit working lock. Like you can lock it into place where you can't open this palette unless you have the key. Like it's a legit lock. My daughter saw it and was so in love with it. I let her take it, and she's playing with it in her room. And also I didn't want to like lose the key and then not be able to get into my palette, so anyway, just want to tell you that little aspect. Like, it's very well done, very well made. Those are my thoughts on this palette. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the different type of looks I was able to get from this palette. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video. As always, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye swatches, all that sort of thing. And with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.